Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Where is Stu?
I think he's just popped off for a minute.
It's a good start.
It is. We've had quite a few comments already. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. I think we should thank everyone who's here for being here at the start. We're very grateful for that. It's good to see. Good to see some familiar faces, actually, including yours, Graham. This is reminding me of Burton's Sword 5.
Yeah,
that was a good long time ago when you think about it.
I'll just show off my t-shirt.
Nice. Yeah, Stu's done a runner.
Oh dear. Well, we can cope for a few minutes until he gets back, I'm sure.
We can. We don't need Stu. Well, we do. We need those pixels. He needs to come back. He hasn't finished yet.
Right, so I'll just run through the comments real quickly. Dave Boswell says, exciting times, a story-driven gauntlet type game from the Beneath the Steel Sky duo.
Yeah. Well, beneath and sensible. Beneath a sensible sky. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, sensible sky. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Well, I just saw duo and thought, no, that's not quite right. But that indeed is right. So that's a clever one. Cannon Fodder t-shirt.
A few other comments, people saying hello. We've got Freddie on YouTube saying hello. You got Pratoy saying Pog. Child of the 90s, I'm assuming. Freddie saying that he enjoyed your virtual Q&A session on Zap 2025.
Yeah, Zap was great. Yeah, Zap was really good. I mean, it's the Zap Live and the Crash Live. I mean, they're kind of. I said to Chris Wilkins, they're kind of a mecca for everyone that was in the games industry back in the 80s. You know, we just know everyone's there that we used to know, and it's such a kind of, it's great. It's great. I mean, the atmosphere with the fans and the people that just come along is just so good at those shows. I have to get you down there one year, Graham.
Oh yeah,
it's euphoric. It's really something.
I think we've got Stu back.
You have. For some reason, my camera decided to say I'm going, and it just disappeared. So a bit of unplugging at the back, and it's kind of come back. So I'm not going to go near it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it.
Don't look at it.
Hello, everybody. Who's ever's watching?
Yeah, we're just nipping through the comments. Lots of people saying hi.
Welcome, Stu. UrbX and Specky next with the best things about Zap. Yeah, that's a bit of an irony for a Commodore show.
I can't possibly comment on that because I am known as a Commodore man, so I've got to remain neutral on that statement.
We've corrupted the whole thing.
Yes, the corruption will go deep.
It will. Well, someone else is saying we have to make sure that Dinky Ray. Oh no, someone else was saying the Amiga version has got to be the ultimate version, which will make up for it.
I got a Cannon Fodder t-shirt printed recently. Now that's a cool idea. You'll have to show it to me on one of the socials. Tag me, and I'll have a look at it. So always good to see a Cannon Fodder t-shirt. So yeah, I think going back to the Amiga, I think we have got good plans for the Amiga version. We've got some really good plans for that. So it should be pretty good.
Yeah, we've got all the Amigas ready anyway. I
like that, mate, Paul. That's really cool. I like that. It's your moral duty.
Yeah. It's yours, Stu, because you are, as you say, you are a Commodore guy, so it is your moral duty.
Yeah. You could name the company Sensible Sky. That'd be yeah.
Lots and lots of comments.
Are we going to play Expo Blackpool this year? I think me and Charles have been asked, actually. So, yeah, I might be there. We might be on a panel thing.
When is that, Tone? When is it?
It's October, I think.
October. All right.
Yeah. We've also been, October is also Amiga 40 in Germany, which we might be going to.
Yeah.
So that would be an Amiga month.
Yeah.
We're all sat reading the comments.
There's too many.
I think playing Cannon Fodder from floppy disks is probably the best way to do it, because it's you get that full experience of the clicking and the wait times, and I think the nostalgia hits hard when you do that. It's really good. Well, you can play it on an emulator, and you've got the speedy loading and all the other stuff, but you can't beat going back to the old school way of doing things and sticking the old disc in and playing the game as it was intended.
How many discs was it, Stu?
Three discs. We had the first disc was the intro and the loader, and then you had effectively two data discs. So yeah, it was pretty good. We did try to get it onto 2, but it just didn't happen. So it's probably my fault, because I kept asking for more tiles and things.
Yeah. Well, Steel Sky was about 15, so I think we probably have the record for the most number of floppies in any video.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
It was pretty silly, yeah. And we got the names mixed up and stuff, so it was a right mess.
Oh, hello, James. Do you know, I haven't played the Archimedes version of Cannon Fodder, so I really must have rectified that, because I've not seen that. I've only seen like bits of it online, but I've never actually played it in person. So it'd be quite good to see, how good it is compared to the original. I've heard it's pretty good.
Error reading disk 14. Oh yeah, disk 14. Yeah. There's a joke about that.
Right, so we're going to be going live with the Kickstarter in about 20 minutes. So until then, we're going to take some questions off people. But while they start to come in, I've got a few questions prepared, if you'd like to answer them.
Go on then.
Go for it. Go on.
So how did you guys start working together?
We were put on a panel together at Zap again, back like 2 years ago. So I knew of Stu, but I didn't know Stu. And I guess the same with me. And we were sat next to each other at Zap, and we got chatting afterwards, and then we sat next to each other on Stu's table. I was selling my book and he was selling his stuff. And we just got chatting and hit it off really well. So we had this. We didn't really talk seriously about doing some work together, but the kind of germ of it was there, because we both recognized in the other like something that we needed to be whole, to be dramatic about it. But I'm a programmer. I need great art. And you want to team up with someone who's going to complement the programming and the art together. Like in the old days when it was just very small teams. And we kind of got talking about all that kind of stuff, and got excited about how it used to be. And that was the germ, wouldn't you say, Stu?
Definitely. It was quite interesting, because like Tony said, I was aware of Tony's work, and obviously who hasn't heard of Beneath the Steel Sky and Broken Sword? They're massive titles. But you start talking to someone and you start to realize that, hang on a minute, they're sharing the same kind of ideas in terms of how to do a game as me. And I'm thinking, that's pretty cool. And it kind of just escalated from there into this kind of like relationship of like, yeah, we should do something. And it kind of just happened, really. I don't think either one of us probably thought it would take the path it's taken, where we are now, because we was really just going to do just a kind of a quick game on the Spectrum Next. We thought it's quite a nice machine to do something on, and we thought we'll just do a quick game on there just to get to know the machine, and then maybe move on to something else, if it went well. But I think because of both our backgrounds, we're quite in high profile in the titles we've worked on. You think, well, you can't just do things by halves. You have to kind of just push the boundary and just do as much as you can and really, push it, because that's what we're known for, pushing the boundaries of the titles we've worked on. So here we are with UrbX Warriors.
Yeah, that's what we did back in the day. It was all it was all that kind of. I'm reading about ID Software at the moment, and the way they made Doom, it was exactly the same way as we made Beneath Steel Sky. It's just like craziness in a little office with 6 or 7 people doing the absolute best they can and pushing everything. And I'm sure your stuff was the same, Stu.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, the way I've described it, the original Sensible that I joined was a very small team. It was like, John Hare, Chris Yates, Chris Chapman, and then you had like, Richard Joseph, who was doing the music outside. Martin Galway had only just left. He'd left a few months before I joined, and I was absolutely gutted that I never got to work with him. But it was a very small team, and then you had Dave Corn join. So it's literally a handful of five of us, and it was a really good team environment. We all got along, and we just all kind of just worked towards the ultimate goal, which was to make a good game. And I think that was key in the success of both, like Revolution and Sensible, is that you all had the same kind of idea to make a good title, and it didn't really matter who did what. There's no like ego about, well, I'm doing this and you're doing. It's like, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea, because we all benefit from that good idea, and that's pretty much how we've worked since we've been doing UrbX. I don't, we don't say, oh well, you've done this and I've done that. It's like, well, we'll just have an idea and we just do it. If it works, it works. That's good.
Yeah. We've got one question from Brookster Max, who asks, who will log in and launch the Kickstarter officially? Did you do a toss? Did you toss a coin for it? Have you decided yet? Because we've not spoke about that. I don't think.
I think it's Tony's. It's on Tony's account, so I think Tony should have the honours.
It might only be me that can do it. I'm not sure.
I think it probably is you who can do it.
Yeah. I nearly clicked it by accident. So
it's already been launched.
I'm avoiding the page for that because I very nearly did it.
Of course, we're hoping it will work straight away. I mean, it's so long. I mean, it's 3 years since I did one of these, and I honestly can't remember if when you press that button to launch it, it does launch it, or if it goes off to be approved somewhere. I mean, I think the project has been approved before you get the launch button, so we should be all right. But there could be a total disaster in 20 minutes' time. Just to prep everyone.
Well, let's hope so. We've been kind of working hard to get it sort of finished, and it's been a bit of a sort of an in-depth thing the last couple of days, trying to get all the bits set up on it and making sure that it all works. And so, fingers crossed, neither one of us has broke anything on it. So, because I've never been involved with one at this level before. I've always assisted other people. Whether it's providing art prints or canvas prints or pixel portraits, but I've never actually done one at this level before. So it's been a bit of a learning curve for me, knowing what goes on behind the scenes of launching a Kickstarter campaign. It's been a lot of fun, but a lot of work. So,
it's a lot of work in it, and it takes you away from the game, which is the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
If you can do a Kickstarter, you have to do it properly, and it is a ton of work. It really is.
Yeah. But I think we've always held that belief since we started working together. We've got to do everything properly. We've got to make sure that whatever we do is up to the standard of the stuff we've just done before. So with UrbX Warriors, we're pushing the boundary of what we can do with the Spectrum next, from the graphics to the gameplay to the the amount of stuff we're shifting on screen. All of it is there. But if you set the bar that high, then you can't let yourself down and your mate down by just knocking out dodgy social media posts or just putting some rubbish videos out. You've got to really keep that level up here all the time, and we've tried to do that.
I imagine some people in the comments have seen the game in action, and I having seen it myself, I think it's of a very high standard, and I'm looking forward to playing it properly, but I'm also looking forward to watching you play the demo for us.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a Steve Benway now. Say playing the game badly. If anyone knows who Steve Benway is, he's got a great YouTube channel where he plays games badly. So hello, Steve, if you're watching. So I'll try not to play it badly.
It'd be a bit embarrassing if you can't play your own game.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Well, having said that, we were saying it's important for to get a good test team behind you, and Paul's been doing a lot of testing for us, and he's been fantastic because he's found bugs and things that we didn't even know that were in it. Because when you're developing a game, you tend to just test the same thing over and over again. So
Ruslan.
Whether it's, so it does make a big difference.
Yeah.
I've got a question from Andrew Hutchins, who
Hello,
asks,
Andrew.
which ports are you planning after the release is done, apart from Amiga, obviously?
Quite a lot, actually, because we're just really into the idea of getting the max out of a load of old machines that are currently doing well. So someone said Neo Geo. I mean, it's a possibility, and that man Ruslan, who's in the comments, he might be the one to get that project off the ground. Actually, being a super techie, low level guy. But we're looking at maybe the Mega Drive, which is in a similar frame as the Neo Geo. Dreamcast is a definite, I think, because it's just doing so well at the moment, and it would be quite easy to do. Amiga, obviously. PlayStation 1 we're going to do, and we've already got that running with really great lighting and stuff. I mean, it looks like the best 2D game you've ever seen on the PSX. It's just really great. And Ruslan is the man who's done a bit of low-level work on that again. What else do? I mean, obviously, Switch, I guess, if we can ever get a demo.
Yeah, I mean, we are looking at getting it on the Switch, because I think that'd be a really good machine to release the game on. And can I just say that whatever format we develop for, we'll be taking the game and looking at what we can do to it to enhance it for the strengths of that platform. So, for example, PlayStation 1 or Dreamcast, you can have lighting effects. So, I mean, Ruslan's been doing some amazing stuff where you've got real-time lighting. So when you combine that with pixel art, it just it blows my mind that my artwork is now having real-time lighting applied to it. So, when you're going, say you're going to a level where it's dark and you've got like a torch, the whole area will light up, but it will light up without being like a sphere. It will actually bounce off the wall. So it casts the shadows, and it just looks amazing. So whatever we do, it will be to the strengths of that machine. And like, for instance, if we did at some point say we were going to do like a Neo Geo version, then I would foul myself if I didn't enhance the graphics to the strength of the Neo Geo, because the Neo Geo's got like 65,000 colours and zillions you can have on screen, and it'd be criminal not to take advantage of all that. Same with the Mega Drive, and the Mega Drive would be, I think if we did a Mega Drive version, visually it would look very similar to the next version because they got the same number of colours, but it can't display as many. So there'd be certain restrictions. But yeah, I mean, one thing I will say is, with the Sega Saturn, for example, there's that Saru cartridge which has been out for a while, which seems to be doing quite good numbers all around the world. If that is a possible, market for us to sell the game in and develop it for that, then maybe we could consider that at some point. It all comes down to really whether there's enough people out there who'd want to buy our game, because making games is quite a lot of work. It's quite intense. So I think that's why we announced the Amiga, because the Amiga's got such a huge community and it's machines we're familiar with, so we know what we can get away with on that, rather than we'll do it for this and that. But so I think we've got quite a good selection of machines that are scheduled to be worked on.
But it won't be quick because we're going to make the most of every machine. We're not doing cheap ports, we're not like just farming it out to some porting company in God knows where. We're going to do it ourselves, and we're going to make the most of every machine. So it won't be quick, but it will be good, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, I think just to add to that, I mean, we've got our own integrity to withhold, so we've got to uphold that. Otherwise, like Tony said, I mean, how many times did I'm certainly in the 90s we had to deal with a publisher, and they would say, we'll take the conversion to I don't know, that machine, and you see the conversion and it was done on the cheap, and you think, it's like, I mean, I've seen quite a few versions of Cannon Fodder where the graphics have been kind of like, they've not done a great job when they ported the graphics over, and you think, I wish we'd have done that. And but you understand the economics, why it doesn't always happen. But for us, we said, no, we're gonna make sure we do every version the best we can, so it plays to the strengths of that machine.
Should we answer some questions that's passed?
Yes.
Rowan DT. Rowan is a Revolution name from a long time back. I remember Rowan coming into the Revolution office back on King Street. When was that? Rowan, do you remember when that was? That was some ICB thing, wasn't it? What's your question? Or are we developing directly on Nexts? Not exactly. I mean, we compile or assemble rather on a PC, and then I use an emulator called CSpect, which just pops up, and it's an exact emulation of a Spectrum Next. So you get a very, because it's all on PC, it's a very fast iteration loop. So build run. It's like instant. But once in a while, you send the game off to the real Next just to check it still works, and it usually does, because the machine is exactly the same as the emulator. So I mean, I've got a Next on my desk now. So yeah, I mean, yes and no.
Yeah.
Game Boy, probably not.
Game Boy Advance would be quite fun, but I don't know how that would be
possible.
distributed, really.
Just the file. It's possible, but it's hardcore. But possible. Amiga's.
Sorry, carry on.
Amiga's probably AGA, because
yeah,
OCS would just crucify the graphics, and Stu would cry.
the thing we did discuss doing OCS and ECS Amiga, and I mean, just to take you back to the Next, is the Next has got 512 colors, but you've got like a 256 color tile set, so you can have all those colors on the tile set. Plus, you've got 16 banks of 16 colors for the sprites. So in theory, I mean, you're never going to get them all on screen, because it's only got 512. But in theory, you could have quite a few hundred colors on screen. So doing that on the Amiga, and you go back to, say, the original hardware, would be a struggle to get the graphics to look like they do. It's possible, but it would be an awful lot of work to capture the essence of the game as I've created the art on it now. Having said that, the AGA version is going to be fantastic to do, because I've got more colors to play with, so I can smooth a lot of stuff out, and it'll just look really, really good on the AGA. Looking forward to working on that. Yeah.
Pratoy asks if this will be available on Steam.
This one won't. Later on, when it's gone like Switch and all these other versions, and it's got things like dual player and everything we want in it, then like the ultimate version will probably go to Steam in the end, but it'll go a route around all these other versions first, and probably end on Steam at the end. I don't have a lot of confidence in Steam at the moment. There's just so many games being thrown at it. I'd rather be in a more unique place on funny little platforms than fighting it out on Steam. Maybe the game's going to do really well, and the name will be well known by the time it's gone, or better known when it's gone all the way around. So it'll be in a better place when it finally comes to Steam. That's the vague plan.
It will be on PC though.
This one, yeah, I mean, this game will play on. There is a PC, a Windows, and a Mac, and there will be a Linux version. So the exact same game as you play on the Spectrum, pretty much, you'll be able to play on PC. Yeah. So you can download the demo now. It's up on the itch page, so you can play it on Windows or Mac or a Next.
Yeah. The thing with the PC is that we use we've got two versions we use during development. So when I'm doing level testing, and I'm doing when you're doing level design, you're constantly making an edit, saving it, testing it, making an edit, saving it. You're doing this loop continuously, and you could be doing that just like ran in a circle all the time. You just edit, test. Well, if I did that on the next version, I'd have to recompile, bring stuff in. Whereas with the PC, I can just export the stuff straight into the folder and rerun the executable, and it loads that file in, and I can test it straight away. So we've actually got the assets are identical on the we call it play on PC because it's the next version, but you're playing it on your computer. So it's exactly the same game. It's just that it's playable on a computer rather than on the Spectrum. So you don't have to have a Next to buy this current version of the game. Yeah, so it's brilliant. It's been a real benefit being able to do that for me as a designer and artist, because I don't want to be sitting there waiting around for it to compile and load stuff in. I want to be able to do it really quickly, and this allows me to do that.
We've got quite a few questions to go through.
Okay.
And some funny comments. I like this comment.
Hey,
Hang
Mike.
on, hang on. Did I have my shirt undone then? I'm sorry.
People will pay more for that.
Yeah.
If this doesn't work out, you know.
Nude game developers.
We should do a shout out to
keep our clothes on. Actually, that might be a new thing. You know, they put money in the pot to keep our clothes on.
I'd put money in.
I was going to say a shout out to the Flashman, who is Mike, who helped me get started on the Specky Next. So with some tech help. So cool guy, Flashman. Play his game head over heels on the Next. Brilliant game.
Yes, very good, very good.
I got a question from Pixel Refresh. Is there going to be an Easter egg with black and white photos of you both, as per your leaflet at the start of Cannon Fodder?
Do you know what, James? That's probably a good idea, actually. We could probably do something like that. We could do something like that.
We like Easter eggs, so yeah.
Yes, I think that's a strong possibility. Yeah, drop us an email and remind me, and we'll put it in. Because I like things like that. We're both quite into all that sort of stuff.
Right. Matt asks, he doesn't ask. He says, game looks great from the small clips he's seen. Two legends working together is always going to be good.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Matt. That's brilliant. Thanks for saying that. I don't know. I don't really feel like a legend. But I take that as I take that quite humbly. It's nice when people say things like that. So yeah, cheers.
Got another funny comment that I won't read out loud.
Yeah, £5 and I'll stroke my beard. It's all for beer money. That's what it is. It's all for beer money or beard money.
Rowan DT, are you developing it on Next? Also, who came up with the concepts and characters?
We answered the first part. Who came up with the concept characters?
You did,
I can't exactly remember where this concept came from.
I think the concept was just a conversation we was having about setting a game in a location, and we both kind of said we liked urban exploring. I don't do it because there's nowhere really that I don't really want to get involved in walking around derelict buildings. But I am fascinated by ancient architecture and ancient buildings that have collapsed and all sorts of things. And I do watch some of those videos on YouTube. And Tony's, said he watches a lot of stuff like that on YouTube. We both had this interest, and we kind of said, well, why don't we do? I don't think neither of us want to come up with the idea of UrbX. It kind of just happened, didn't it? We just both kind of said, yeah, why don't we do it like an urban exploring? And I thought, and then when we was talking about the game features we was looking to do, it kind of fitted really well with what we was looking to do for the actual game mechanics. And it kind of went from there. And the characters, I mean, I suppose I can take credit for the characters because I just went off and just had all these ideas and just drew some roughs. And as I normally do, when I'm doing a character, I like to have an idea in my head who that character is. So often I'll come up with a backstory and not necessarily just to put it out in the public, just for my own real benefit, so I can work out characteristics and the sort of personality they are. And then it just goes from there, really. So, but going back to it was the urban exploring is just such a fantastic idea to do a game with, and we've not really gone too far into it with this one in terms of like old buildings because we wanted to keep it fairly light. Because obviously with the Spectrum Next, there's only so much you can do within a time frame, but certainly in the future we'll probably expand on that a lot.
Another question from Richard. We're going to have to be quick though, because we need to turn the Kickstarter on in a second. Are you planning on having any open testers from the backers in the Kickstarter campaign?
There is the demo, of course, which does need testing. The game itself, we'll have a think about that because we don't want to. The thing about testing the game is, if you like genuinely wanting to play a game, it's always tempting to go, I'll test it, but then you see it in a non-finished state, and some of the magic goes. And I've seen really keen players become disillusioned and broken as a result of beta testing a game. So maybe the right people who are not going to be damaged by it will. I mean, it will need testing, so there will be something. We haven't given it any thought as to the exact details though. But be careful what you wish for. Right, I'll go and switch.
I was about to say, who wants to switch it on? Tony?
Yeah, definitely. Probably going to break if I try and do it because it's... the moment of truth. Can I just say the other thing with testing is it's a documented thing to do. You have to document literally everything you do from like, what moves you did, how can you repeat it. So it's quite intense. Is it live?
We are live, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, looks all right. 0 backers. That's disappointing, isn't it?
That's terrible. That is. We're live. There we go. Wow, it's there. Fantastic.
See what you think of our video that we cobbled together.
Yeah.
We are not good at videos.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite a good video.
I sense reserve in your voice there, Graham.
I think the main thing is when you develop
I just said
a
I
game,
thought it was quite a good video.
Hmm?
We've had our first backer.
Ooh. Wow. Thank you. Whoever backed it first. Thank you very much. Thing is, with all these campaigns, I mean, we're literally taking the power away from publishers and putting it into the hands of developers, and that's the main reason we're doing it this way. Because if you go to a publisher, they're going to want a big cut out of your hard work, and often you do give up a bit of control as a result of that. So being that we've been around a few years, we thought, well, we'll do it this way, and what you see is what you get, and we've got a lot of plans to do some like live feeds and and just follow the progress from here on. When I've got an idea of doing some like live level editing, if people want to watch, when I put some of the levels together, they can jump on a stream and watch me do that and listen to me talk a lot of rubbish while I do it normally as well, because I often sit here talking to myself when I'm working. So
We've got 7 backers now. Just
wow,
so you're aware.
Fantastic.
We could talk to Mike about putting it in C-Specs. We could do that, yeah. I think we might do that. Probably not at first, but we might do that, yeah. Yeah. I'll have to talk to you about it, Mike, see how well head over heels do. But yeah, it's an option. Martin, who helped me write my book. Congratulations, thank you. What are the classic Spectrum games would you cite as an influence? There's anything really close to it, is there?
No, I don't think so. I think most of the influence has been from arcade games, really. I'd say and I wouldn't say in particular one specific title. I think really we've kind of looked at what we like from a few different games over the years and thought we like that element, we like this element, and we've just kind of put it into a format that we know the next can handle. So rather than sort of try and be overly ambitious and do something which is a bit more sort of unrealistic, we've done a game which we thought, yeah, we could put that in the arcade and you can play it, and that's pretty much the way we've kind of started developing this project, and we're continuing to do so. Yeah, Gauntlet. There is. I mean, originally we were talking about doing a Gauntlet game, when we first started talking, and then we thought we don't really want to do a clone. So we said, well, what do we like about Gauntlet? We like the running about, picking things up, picking up treasure. But then we saw other games like URBX Warriors, Commando, all those kind of games where you're running around shooting. I mean, someone said about the Chaos Engine, which wasn't an influence, but I can kind of see the comparison. I mean, there's only so much you can do in that kind of genre before you compare to every game that uses that kind of game mechanic. But most of it is rooted in the arcades, believe it or not, and especially like the SNK stuff and the stuff that Capcom were doing. That kind of 90s era of video games where you go in there and you just have a great time playing these. What at the time were state-of-the-art video games. So hopefully you can bring some of that element into this.
Yeah, I mean the way arcade machines play, you just put the money in and then it's immediately into it. We wanted that kind of immediacy. And the thing about Gauntlet is, it's this level, the next level, the next level, the next level, and this game has grown so that it's more of an RPG type map. You come backwards and forwards, and you might need to leave a level, find something, come back again. So there's more of a slight RPG adventure type angle to it as well. So it's grown beyond the concept of Gauntlet. And I think if those ghosts weren't there, which were our early test graphic, and they're going to be given a lesser role soon. I think without the ghosts, people wouldn't really think about Gauntlet.
Yeah, that's very true. Because when we first did some concept stuff just to get some things moving, I said, well, I'll just do some ghosts just quickly to put them in. Easy to draw, just easy. Just put them in. I thought, yeah, I'll do that. Put them in, and they've kind of remained in there. But that first level you play in the demo, there will be scorpions and spiders in there, which I stopped working on to do all the stuff for the Kickstarter, all the assets for the Kickstarter. But they will be the first levels the first things you encounter. And the premise for that is, cheers, Andrew. Andrew's backed it. The premise for that. Now, I hope you bought an immortal joystick for that one.
They're very good.
That's very good. But the premise for that is that you start off and it's nothing paranormal. So you're on the outside. And as you progress through, the levels, it becomes more and more paranormal as you get deeper into the game. So we can introduce all sorts of weird stuff. So, so those ghosts are going to be pushed further into the game. Probably about, I don't know, area 3 probably. There's about 4 areas. So we're in area 3, which is darker into the game. Cannon fodder for the original Spectrum. That would be a challenge, I think. That would be a challenge.
Could almost do it.
I think it's possible.
You could do it for the next.
Do it for the next. I mean, cannon fodder, a spiritual cannon fodder game for the next would be quite good to do. So yeah, the original Spectrum. I think you could probably do it, but it'd have to change. I mean, graphically, it'd be quite challenging to get the look of cannon fodder, but I think it's possible. I mean, bear in mind, guys, I'm actually a Commodore guy, so for me, I've just entered the world of Spectrum. I've literally have. I'm wiring up he's wiring up the Ramona joystick. We've got our 2 concept joysticks, which Andrew put together for us. So he's wiring them up for us so we can take them to shows and show people. But the main thing is that we're trying to just make everything sort of as good as we can with it. So yeah, what's that? Backer number 17. Wow, how are we doing? That's crazy.
We're up to 24 backers with £1,075 raised so far.
That's brilliant.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great because the thing is, we've been self-funding this game, so we didn't want to do the Kickstarter until we had the game. Because I think it's a little bit cheeky to ask people to back your dream, and then you're sitting, oh well, we've got the money in, and now we've got to do the game. We've done it the other way around, where we just want to say, look, we've done all this, and we're going to continue doing it. We want to get it finished because we've got big plans for Brazen Gameplay and other projects. But it's just nice to be able to interact and see the the support we're getting. So thanks to everybody who's supported us so far. It's brilliant. Thanks. The joystick was very tempting. Andrew, these are fantastic joysticks. You know the other Andrews, so they really, really are good.
They do look really nice. We've got a question. Is the demo available?
Yes. There's a link at the bottom of the story page, I think, and it's the itch page. My itch page.
We can put a link out on the Facebook page as well after this.
Yeah.
If anyone misses it.
Yeah.
And also, I believe Stu's going to have a go at playing it for us.
I am. Just say the word, and we'll go over to that. It's no problem. Anytime. That would be good. So at the moment, we've got some early music in the game. So this is before we actually worked out what we wanted. We had some music which Richard had done just basically just to put in it, and we're still finalising the music for the project. But the tracks that he's been working on are really, really good. They're a lot more in line with what we wanted. So, but the demo hasn't got those tracks in, just to say. So that doesn't represent the final music in the game. So
yeah, we're playing with the music and the music drivers at the moment.
Yeah.
All right.
So Kickstarter broke, but is now mended by the looks of it.
Cheers, Matt. Yeah, you're that Matt. Oh, nice one, mate. Thank you. I still haven't got round to doing that, finishing it off. So yes, Tower 57. That rings a bell. That game.
I don't know.
I've heard of it. Tower 57. Is that? I'll have to check that out. I'll write it down. Tower 57. I'll make a point of checking it out.
So we've got someone saying that they've got the early bird collector's edition. It is worth pointing out that you do get a slight discount if you go for the early bird collector's edition. And let me just pull them up. I think, is it right? Am I right in saying you've got two different early bird?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got the big box edition early bird and the collector's edition early bird.
There's 89 left of the big box, so be quick. Let's see what else.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
The joysticks do look really pretty, like really, really pretty.
I mean, it was quite interesting because I met Andrew from Immortal Joysticks a few years ago at one. I think it was at Zap, and we got talking, got on really well. And when Tony and I were talking about doing a game, and when we got to the point where we was doing arcadey stuff, I just had this thought. I said to Andrew, "Isn't it possible you could do us a custom joystick? Just like, see what he'd say." Because he'd said that he can do all the actual high quality art on it. You can get the actual proper professional, like you see on the arcades. It's a proper process that goes on there. He said, "Yeah, sure." So when I did the artwork for the cover, which I wanted to make sure was really, really the best I could do for the game, I thought, well, if I take something for the joystick and do something for the characters, that might really work. So I did a few tests with some really dodgy kind of like mock-ups on screen. And then Andrew said to me, I can send you get the template over to you. And, we can have a go at doing a concept version. So I said, okay. So started playing around with the time. I come up with the idea with because Ramona's colours are pink and Alejandro's colours are more blue. And I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll try and come up with a different version for each and see if it works. And with the zombie, which is kind of he's used everywhere, that zombie, the reaching out one, I'll have to come up with a name for him. Then I put it on, and it was just by coincidence that where the buttons line up, his eyeballs lined up pretty much where the buttons were without affecting the artwork. So his hand is still visible and his mouth's there. So I did it, and we sent them off to get them done. And Andrew got them back. He put it together, and I said, that just looks amazing. And then we just worked together, and I said to him about, is there any way you could put eyeballs on the buttons? And he said, well, yeah, I could do. There's certain buttons you can buy in the arcades where you've got like images in them. And then he went a step further. He said, actually, you could put green around them. So it's actually the green zombie eyes. So he did that. And when he sent me the picture over, I thought, that's it. That's exactly what we want. So, yeah. So the images you see are the prototypes that we've got. The final joystick, where there might be some revisions to the graphics on the front, because the screenshots I used on them were from an earlier version of the game. So the one on the final version will have a much more updated in-game graphics on the actual top of the joystick, so which is more representative of the newer graphics. So it'll be slightly better, in other words. So yeah, but they look fantastic. They really do.
I do urge anyone watching that's not gone on the Kickstarter yet to have a look at the joysticks, because they do look really, really good. Really, really good.
I mean, they are. I mean, they're a collectible items, because we're not looking to, become a joystick seller. So it was just an idea that we thought was a bit of a crazy idea, and it's like, well, I know that Immortal joysticks are like, the best you can get in terms of the quality and the build quality, and they're just sturdy. They're really sturdy. I thought we'll do that. Let's have a see if it works, and thankfully it did. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Very pleased.
We've got a few people saying that Kickstarter is struggling.
I noticed that on here. I went to refresh it and it errored. So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's back now. It's back now.
We broke Kickstarter.
Yeah, we broke it. Oh dear. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I mean, obviously it's something that's not in our control. So if it does, just persevere with it. I mean, yeah. It's not as bad as my website though, which often goes a bit slow, which is my own fault because I'm rubbish. So.
Cannon Fodder on the next, it would actually work really well. It's all about who owns the license, though. I guess that one.
Here's a question for you: if you did come up with a spiritual successor to Cannon Fodder, what would you call it?
Fan Codder.
Original. No one will know.
No, we'll just get it out. Don't tell anyone. So that's a good question, actually, because I think it'd have to be something which would pick up on the feeling of the original, because there's a meaning by the actual title is the meaning of the whole game. You are just cannon fodder in a war. So it's you're actually feeling the misery of war when you play cannon fodder, because you lose one of your soldiers who you've seen go through 3 or 4 missions. It's hang on, your phone's going off here. Hang on, sorry about that. Let me turn that off. Yeah, so if you're going through through levels, and you've got like a guy who's gone through like 5 missions and he gets right up to like a high rank, when he dies you think, oh no, I've lost him. And that kind of was the thing that Cannon Fodder really portrayed really well. And again, that was something which we didn't realise until we started putting names to all the players in the game. Once those names went in, it was like, hang on a minute, that guy, I was getting quite attached to him because he's got me through like half a dozen levels, and now he's gone. And then you have to start with the recruits that come in at the base level, and they're not quite as good at they can't fire as many bullets. Their grenade precision's not quite as good. So yeah. I think Cannon Fodder on the next would be pretty good, I reckon. I think it's certainly doable, but it's just coming up with a decent name. So if anybody has got any decent names for it, not rubbish ones, but actually rubbish ones would be good as well, because I need a laugh. But if you've got any good names, then drop them in the comments, and or drop it on one of our socials, and we can have a think about it.
Well, Meat Grinder would be an excellent name, actually.
Meat Grinder, yeah.
Given what's happening in a certain part of the world.
Yeah, Meat Grinder would be really good.
Doom for the Spectrum. I did see, this was a while ago now, this was a few years ago, I did see that someone, I think it was Tetris, someone got working on a chip and pin machine. When they said that the chip and pin machines, when they first came out, they said these are unhackable. That was the draw to it. Don't worry about getting hacked, because this is unhackable. And then within 24 hours, someone had Tetris running on it. I'm sure it was Tetris. It might have been Doom or something, but
Yeah.
it was something that's commonly cloned.
It's quite incredible what people can get out of these machines. You know, when you get somebody who's really, really determined to do something, it amazes you when you see these old machines and they're doing something which you think, how do they do that? You know, how can they get something like that on that old hardware? It's pretty amazing. But then, having said that, for a game developer, you know, a lot of the job is to overcome hurdles with the hardware you're dealing with, and that's a skill. Like, I mean, Tony's got that skill, you know, and as the graphics guy, I kind of do that with the look of the graphics. You know, we just have to kind of push things to come over some of these hurdles you get pushed against when you're doing a game.
Yeah, if anyone can do it, the game programmers from the old days could. You know, the assembly guys. It's all about getting the most, getting more out of something than you would ever think possible.
True, very true, very true. I'll back you off. This too busy watching you right now. That's thanks, mate. You crashed Kickstarter. Oh, cheers.
Something for the old CV, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suspect it wasn't us, but yeah.
Just to let you know as well, you've now got 58 backers, and you are now over 50% towards your funding goal.
Fantastic.
£3,030.
Wow. I just want to say thanks to everybody who's put their name to the game. Let's appreciate that. It's brilliant.
Yeah, amazing.
Especially considering the issues that we've had with Kickstarter so far, with it misbehaving a little bit for pretty much everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I had issues earlier when I was trying to update images, and I put an update image in it, and it wouldn't accept it. It kept erroring, and I thought, well, I haven't done it. I've just the same image, just updated some of the information in the image, upload it, errored. And you think, okay, so you have to come out and then load back in, and then it's cleared its error. So there's definitely seems to be some issues in their back end with some of the stuff. So I don't understand what that is.
Definitely happening.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. It won't be happening until later, till we've got the next version out and published and out the way, and then we'll look at what we're going to do next. It all comes down to what we think we feel we can do in the time we've got with it. So if we do AGA Amiga next, that's another lot of work, or we might do one of the higher spec machines next. It would probably make sense. I don't know if Tony agrees with me, to do the Amiga AGA next, because it's the same kind of, it's like a level up from where we are now graphically, and the machine's got it's 68,000 or 68020, so it's quite capable of doing the game really, really well. So we'll have a talk about it and see which one we do next.
Yeah, I just need to get my head around the bit planes and the blitter again. I've forgotten how it all works. But maybe some Amiga guy can get me moving on that. But that's. I mean, it will use our C. We've got a third engine, which we call the C engine, which is with the one which goes to Amiga and goes to Switch and goes to most of the other platforms. So that engine is the one I'm working on it from a platform independent point of view. So it's just a case of plugging it into the Amiga lower level stuff, and that's it. It'll be working. So it's not started, but it's actually it could be running pretty quickly.
Can I just say that, I mean, when we started developing this game, Tony had to go back to Z80, which was a bit of a challenge after all these years, but he's because you refresh your memory on it, and it's just brilliant now. I mean, the only thing is, I find when I'm having conversations with him, he starts talking to me in Z80, and I've got no idea what he's talking about. So it's.
I do not.
I do not.
But every time I talk to you, Stu, there's something about palettes.
Oh God, yes.
Enough colours.
Don't talk to me about palettes.
Bloody palettes.
Bloody
Not
palettes.
Yeah. Am I supposed to stipple this or what?
Oh, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, they are really nice joysticks. They really do look the business. So and obviously they are like having an arcade unit in your home. They're really solid. So I mean, the thing is, can I just say that we wouldn't associate ourselves with anything that would, you know, I wouldn't say lower the where we are, but everything we do, we're aiming high. So whatever we put out there, it's got to be at that level, because it's our integrity. And obviously we've got, you know, we're known for doing these big titles like Beneath the Steel Sky and Cannon Fodder and, you know, Sense of World of Soccer and, you know, Broken Sword. And so for us, we've got to maintain that level, because that's how we got known, for doing high quality stuff. So whatever we do, it's always got to be at that level. But it's just nice people commenting on the joysticks, you know, it's good.
I do actually have a question about the joysticks, which you might be able to answer.
Yes, it is metal. They're metal housing, and they've got like proper Samurai arcade parts in them, so they're really solid. And this is one of the first things I found when I first had a go on them a few years ago at Zap. Andrew was showing them to me, and I think he was playing. He had Turbo Tomato on, which was just by fluke, because I did the cover art for that and the title screen, and I got to play it on one of his joysticks, and I thought, this is really good. I mean, I've got like an old Competition Pro here, you know, which is the old school one, and you know, it's okay, it's good. But when you play one of these ones, they're like solid, they're really solid, so they feel like they're going to last a long time. You know, they really are good. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's really good.
Yeah, it was also answered there as well.
There you go.
Removable braided cable.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen the compatibility list as well for the joystick, and it is. I was quite surprised. It's quite the list.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we are looking at possibly. I say the ones that Andrew's built are prototypes. We are looking at modifying them slightly. Aesthetically, they'll look the same. But we are looking to modify them slightly. Maybe, possibly, we don't know. Maybe adding a third button to the back. We don't know yet. We'll see whether the costs involved in that will work it out. But at the moment, we're keeping it as it is. But it's I'm just blown away how good they've come out. Because for me as an artist, you know, you do your artwork and you do it. But when you apply it to something in the physical world, you know, you think, wow, you know, it's there, and it's something that's pretty, you know, you make something that just looks so good. It's nice to see that end result. Yeah, very good. Oh, thanks, Andrew. I really appreciate that, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, there's quite a few comments to get through. Competition's named the zombie.
Oh, what, to download them separately? Oh, right, okay. I didn't know you couldn't do that. So that's the piece of digital download options. Right. Oh, cheers, John. That's a good idea. A competition to name the zombie. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, we'll have a think about that one. That's I'm going to make a note.
I think he looks like a Brian.
A Brian.
Brian.
And we have got quite a few zombies in the game. And again, the funny thing is, we wasn't intending to do like a zombie game, but we both like zombies, you know, not in the real world, obviously, but in the fantasy world of video games, we like zombies. And it kind of just happened that we thought, well, we put some zombies in here and some in there. And we've just kind of ended up with a game where zombies seem to be featured, but they're not the main draw. You know, it's more paranormal stuff as you get further in, but it's nice to know that there's a lot of zombie love out there.
How many buttons is UrbX? It's 2 buttons. Just because it's a joystick for the game, so the joystick's got 2 buttons because the game uses 2 buttons. I mean, you can get an immortal joystick with more buttons, which is more general purpose, but we only want 2 buttons. So we only have 2 buttons.
As I said, we are looking at possibly adding a third, but we just got to look at the practicalities of doing that, and it'll be at the back. So we're looking at that, but we're not here to kind of like reinvent the joystick. It's just a collaboration we've done for the game. So the thing is, it'll work on so many on machines. I mean, we work on the Amiga Mini, and there's lots of different machines it will work on. So it's pretty cool. I think the Amiga most games on the Amiga only use one joystick button anyway. So although this will use both on the AGA version, so which will be a nice addition.
Speaking of the actual game, do you want to fire up the demo for us now?
Let's have a go. Let's see how badly I can play it after all these months of testing it. So, right, okay.
Hope you're better than me.
Right, I'm gonna fire it up. Let me just close that down, and then I will fire it up and bring it across. There we go. All right, now hopefully, there we go. Right, so this is the demo. It says it's not picked it up. I'm going to try and I think my leads come out. 1 second. Close it down.
Here's one question for you while we're waiting.
Waiting for me, yes.
Obviously, this is delayed slightly, but how are you feeling having pretty much got halfway in the first 15 minutes? We're now an hour into it, I think. No, we're not. Half an hour into it.
Yeah.
And you're at £4,575 with 82 back.
Wow. Pretty good.
That's incredible. That's I just want to thanks to everybody, because when you're developing a project like this, it's often you just spent in front of a screen. We talk over the internet, we're talking and we're working out stuff, and it's quite solitary, and you think, well, is this going to be a game that people want to play? And you go to a few shows, and we did Crash and we did Zap, and the feedback was really, really good. Was actually blown away by some of the comments. It was like really reassuring that we're doing something right. So knowing that this is, we're hitting the targets, that's fantastic. So really appreciate it. Thank you. Right, so this is the current demo which you can download. We start the game. You can choose your character who you want to play. Got Ramona de Luna and Alejandro Alonso. They are friends. They grew up. They're both interested in archaeology and ancient history of South America. So when we designed this, I wanted to do something like an arcade. So the logo is very arcadey, like Neo Geo, and so I've kind of retained that kind of look when I've done this screen. We've got this screen working. So let's go with Ramona. She's my favourite. So it's the first character I kind of did for the game. So you start off and you're outside in this kind of location it's kind of a fictitious location, but it's around Peru, Bolivia. I don't want to be specific with it because you start doing that and then you've got to tie in all sorts of things. So it's kind of a vague location. And there's a couple of little zombies roaming around. There's a nice coin to pick up. Let's go and pick that up. And over here, you can't do anything. So there's a crowbar, so we can use that to smash the zombies. Now, the good thing about the crowbar is when you're playing the game, when you start using it, there's a little energy bar just at the top there above the crowbar. You'll see it going up and down. When you use it, it will go down. Because when you use it, if you think about it, in real life, if you using a crowbar to smash a load of zombies, you get a bit of fatigue. So the idea is that you can use it, but you have to give a bit of time to get your energy back. So you can't just go around knocking everything. It's kind of pros and cons of game, especially basic game design, really. So I picked up a gun now. And let's go and get that one. Now I've got 60 health. Let's get that key. Let's pick now strategically, when you play the game, it might be better to not always pick up a piece of fruit or a bit of food, because that's got 60 now. So if I go and pick that up, that takes me up to 100. But if it was like further up, it would be pointless because I've just wasted all that energy unless I really need it. So in the game, there are lots of levels where you might be best to not pick things up and come back to them later. It's like Tony said earlier, when you unlike say Gauntlet, which we've been compared to, you can go in and out various levels. So you can really sort of have a bit of a strategy, I suppose, on how you play the game. So let's use the gun on these because we don't want to lose all our energy. So I'll get down here. There's a key down here, which I saw earlier. Right, let's shoot him. Let's get him out of the way. And again, with your ammo, there's a little green bar underneath the gun, which shows you the ammo that you've got left. Now, with the guns, they're not unlimited ammo. So when you use them, you will lose them when they run out of ammo. So the idea being that you pick up another gun of the same type and it will top it right up. Or if you've only got like 50% of the ammo left, you can pick up a gun and it'll bring it straight up, and you'll be quitting with that. Right. So now Tony's just told me I've collected everything, so he's told me I'm well done. Thanks, Tony. That's very nice of you. So,
you're welcome, Stu. You're welcome.
Well done. So now we're in this. Now on some levels you'll be able to go back through. This one for the demo, we've closed it off. So as you go, because you've got to be careful of traps. Now there's a floor trap there, so as you walk over it will disappear. So you've got to be a bit careful. Now that zombie, he hasn't seen me yet, so I could shoot him like that. Let's get rid of him because he'll chase me in a minute. It's a key. Let's grab the key. Can't get out. I could get out the door. I'll go out the door, but then I can't open the chest. I've just wasted my key. So should have had. There's a gold chest which needs a gold key. I should have thought about that. So I'll have to leave that one and come back to it. Let's go out of here. All right, we're into this area now. Now, there's a little thing in here. If you've got the crowbar, which you should have throughout most of the game, there are areas you can smash which you don't notice first of all. Now, take this one. There's a little bit of hedgerow that's a little bit different, which means you can smash through it. And you can get to areas which, previously you might not have seen. These generators, by the way, these are placeholders. I'm going to be doing some tombs and cracks and things in the floor for these. So these are literally placeholders. While they look a little bit sort of generic, they're not so good. A bit of fruit there. I don't need that because I've got 100 points, 100 in my health. So let's go through here, see what else we've got. Another gold chest, but I haven't got a gold key. Oh, hang on. There's a gold key there. Let's grab it. There we go. Let's smash that through. Get the gold key. I can open that chest now, get a bronze key and another gold key. What I've done when I've designed a lot of these levels is I've made sure that if you open a chest, there's normally, but not always, a gold key in there from a gold chest. So you get a reward for taking the risk and opening it. Not all chests will have anything in them. Some will have like, one coin, but a lot of them will have something in there of value. So as we go through here, I've got another bit in there. This chest here has given me some more keys. But I could smash through here, but then I'll release them. So what might be an idea if I go this way and release them that way, and then I can run round and smash through that, and he's trapped around there now. So let's get rid of those ones. Another generator. I've run out of ammo, which is no good. Oh no. See, again, if you're strategy playing it, you can kind of work out that, do I really need to go and shoot everything, or shall I be a bit clever and just, take my time and be a bit strategic? So there are elements like that in this game. So it is an arcadey game, but you have to be a bit clever. See, now I've got the gun again, so I can start shooting and we'll get out of here.
Will the final game have different difficulty levels?
Possibly. We are looking at doing something with that, I think. I think what we'll probably do is have something where once the game's finished, then we'll look at tweaking some of the values for the difficulty. So perhaps the health bar stays on longer, or maybe some of the health gives you a bigger boost. I think that. What do you think, Tony? Does that make sense to do something like that? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, these things are difficult to do well. We'd have to have a good think about it, wouldn't we? I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to be honest. It would be nice to have a really easy mode because, I'm crap at playing games these days, and this is quite a challenge. Sometimes I wouldn't want it to be any harder for me, but then again, some people are brilliant at these things, so they might appreciate a harder one. I've seen people play at shows where they can't get anywhere, and it's just like it really needs just like to be super easy. So maybe if it's doable, we can add a multiplier to everything and have like 3 levels maybe. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, this level here we've put in the demo, but this is a level that's later on in the game. So this is actually the end of the first area. So you're probably looking at about, probably about 11 or 12 maps in to the game when you get to area 2, maybe a little bit more. So this one's got a floor trap there, and these are the blastable walls. Now I've picked up the blaster gun, which is the best gun in the game at the moment. Now if I go through and I blast that wall down, I'm using up all my ammo, but I've got no other option because this floor will collapse if I stand too close. But also I've just shot the diamonds. So you have to be clever when you do this, because if you're not clever and careful, you could shoot up things like diamonds. So, but that's why I put them there. So people go, oh, I didn't want to shoot those. This is the slime. Now these things, they're quite, they sit there quite dormant, and then they'll start multiplying, and then they spread everywhere. So you have to really, when you see them, try and take them out as soon as you can, because as soon as they start multiplying, you're going to use more ammo up to get rid of them. And obviously, the more ammo you use up, if you've got no other guns laying around, you're going to be a bit stuck when you come against something that you really do need to shoot. Again, like here, there's a floor trap. So if I stand on there, it collapses. I can't get through there. So let's blast these out of the way. And go across that floor trap there. And again, there's like a wall there. So if I knock that down, and we've got like the big slime boss. Now, I've only got, see, if I use up all my ammo on here, I'm going to end up, I've got 2 guns, so I could probably take him out, but the blaster is the best one to use, but I'm running out of ammo. So do I look for another, see, there's a gun up there, that's great. So I can take these out and then pick that gun up, my ammo's gone straight up, and pick up these diamonds. Don't need to worry about blasting them because they're not in my way, so there's no point wasting my ammo on them. The same with these ones, but I'll have a look down here, see if there's anything down here. Yeah, there's a bit of fruit there, so I've got 5. So really, I should really get rid of all this, otherwise I'm going to die. Probably going to die in a minute because I've only got 5 energy units left, so this is going to be a bit tricky.
You're in big trouble.
I think I am in big trouble here. I think I am in big trouble. I think I'm, yeah. But you see what I mean? If I'd have been a bit more clever, I won't run into that like a bull in a china shop. I'll be a bit more strategic. So let's try again. I'll try with Alejandro now. So we are talking of possibly having giving him a slightly different weapon, so he'll have a like a torch or something later on. We're not sure yet. So we're still working on some of the logistics of putting those things into the game system. But for now, he's got the crowbar. And he's bashing all these zombies, which, again, with these zombies, these won't appear in this level initially. These will all be like spiders and snakes and scorpions. They'll have the similar kind of thing where they'll chase you and they'll try and sting you, but they won't actually be any zombies in here. Let's get that gun. Bash my way through there. Back through there. 100 health, I don't need that. Get rid of that. Let's get rid of him. See, now that other level, I could go straight through here, and I'm into this level now. Go through there, and I'll get back into that level again. I'm going to bash into there, get through that wall, and get the key, pick that up. Right, let's go. See what we got up here. Oh, there's a generator. I'll take that out. I don't really want to be spooked with a load of ghosts floating around. Let's take him out and all. Right, there's a hedge, so let's get rid of that. Open that one up, get the key. And like I said earlier, there's a lot of things where if you look, you might see like with the hedge there. I put the hedge on that bit, but if you look, you can, when you're playing the game, you might find things that you didn't see before, and they may or may not help your journey through the game. So if it's a smashable wall, that doesn't mean you have to go and smash it, because it might actually affect the game later on when you're coming through the level, and you might find that the baddies can get in there, the ghosts can get in there, or like for instance here, I want to get them coins. So if I smash that down, they're going to come through, and I've got to deal with them as well. So everything you do in the levels will affect the way the level plays. So we're trying to make something which, rather than just been a straight arcade game where you just blast everything to smithereens. We're trying to put a bit of thought into what you're doing in the game, so you're not always just, and we still get the fun. I mean, I'm loving shooting all these things; it's brilliant. But some of the late levels, you'll have to think about it. I mean, there's a lump of fruit in there. I don't really need it, so do I waste energy and time going in there to get that, or do I leave it and then come back to it if I really need it later? So often you think, well, I'll leave it for now. Let's get through this bit.
Just so you're aware as well, we're now at
100 backers. Wow.
£5,550.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Right, I'm going to try and do this again without dying this time. Right. Now, when I do testing, I did actually have it down to an art form getting through this wall without doing it. Here we go. One more. Oh, right. So that's evil, that bit. I shouldn't really have put that in. Let's get rid of these ones.
Are you going to have announcements like in Gauntlet where, you know, like whoever shot the food, or
yeah, we're gonna put some of that humor in. We're looking at doing some stuff like that, and like when you go up to a doorway, if you need a key, it's going to say you need to have like a bronze key to get through this door, and likewise, you know, when the energy's getting low, we'll have a message saying energy low, because when you're playing, sometimes you can't always look up at the screen. You know, you look at this part at the top, so you want a little alert to say, yeah, you're getting low. Now this bit, you can do it, but you have to kind of do a runner. I'm going to embarrass myself now. There's a fall away floor and there's bits behind. So what you have to do is you have to go like that and run in quick and get out before it collapses. So again, there'll be lots of little bits and pieces like that in the game, so you can really challenge yourself when you're playing it. So I'm going to take this out now because I'm going to get out while I've got the ammo. Right, that is the artifact key, and in the game, each area will have an artifact key, and at the end there's going to be you need to collect. I think we're going to have 4 in the game. I mean, this is all design stuff, but the idea is that the artifact key will open this grand artifact kind of chest, and inside you'll find the actual secret artifact, which is actually on the Kickstarter. And the idea being that the secret artifact will allow you to unlock certain levels in the game that you can't get to. So, for instance, I haven't put it on this level, but if I went over here and I came over here, there might be a secret exit there, and it might say enter code. And you think, well, I haven't got a code. But if you get the artifact key, you'll get that code, you can enter it in, and you'll be able to go into other areas of the game, which then give you more power-ups and stuff. Might be something useful for later on when you're playing it. So there's lots of things that we can we're adding in which integrate into the way the game plays externally, you know. And I mean, Tony had the idea of the artifact, and we had this, you know, he had the idea of putting something in the game where you have type something in and you can carry it with you for the next project. So when we do another game in a series, we could then use that artifact key that somebody's already bought and use that in that game to unlock something. Because every artifact key that will be like a pewter, it's like we haven't finalized the design of it yet, but it'll be like a pewter trinket, or where there'll be a code embedded on it, and then you can then use that to get further into the game. So let's get through there. Now I've gone through there. Right, see, now I can't go back now. And get this stuff in there, and then we're out. And that's the little 4-level demo completed without. And I could say I did it without dying, but that would be a lie. So all zombies should be called Brian. We could have like a family of Brians, and they've all become zombies. That'd be quite good.
Bash their Brians out.
Yeah, get the Brians out. Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. Right, let's have another go. Right, let's go. Zombie.
So I know how much Tony in particular likes Easter eggs. Are there any Easter eggs in the demo?
There are no Easter eggs in the demo.
No,
not as such.
No.
They tend to go in. They tend to go in at the end, to be honest.
Yeah.
When you know what you've got memory-wise and all the rest of it, then you go, right, let's put the Easter eggs in. So that's probably the way we'll do it. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of little hidden things in here, like the achievement things, but actual Easter eggs, we'll do them later. I mean, you remember Broken Sword 2, my spider chair thing? That was done on the last morning. That was done on the last morning of development because we just had a bit of spare time. So they'll come towards the end.
By the way, if the scrolling's jerking, it's my internet connection with the frame rate. It's not the game. So I work in the in a little studio in the back of the garden, and my internet's a bit flaky sometimes. It drops, so it's all right normally, but it has these occasions where it decides to go a bit silly. Yeah, but then again, when the levels, there's lots of little things like this where there's like a half height bit of stone, so you can't walk over it, but you can shoot over it. So you can use that to get behind. So like there, I smashed that wall down, and I stood behind there, and then I've got somewhere safe to fire to get rid of all these baddies that are coming out. So there's loads of that sort of stuff going in. We're looking to add things like spikes to the floor and spikes to the wall. So they'll be on timers. There might be some floor switches to trigger those. So again, you might find an area where you need to release a zombie to get him to walk over a floor trigger, and that will stop the spikes from moving. But you can't do that because they're continually moving. So you've got to get him out, and he'll walk over it, and he'll stop them from moving about. So we're trying to make it so that it's a lot more thought into when you're playing it, but sort of retaining that arcade feeling.
We've got a question from Dave, which either of you could answer, I think.
Yeah.
How much would the Amiga AGA version cost? Can you pledge for a big box early bird and specify Amiga?
No, this isn't the Amiga version is a separate project, so that will come later.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a bigger thing. So it's different from this.
I'd say think of the Amiga one as the base level we've got here with more on it. So it'll be like an update version of this game with more in it for just specifically for the Amiga. I mean, we'll probably run we'll probably run a small campaign for the Amiga one to cover the costs of boxes and stuff, but the game will be I'd say enhanced in a way.
I mean, this is an 8-bit game,
Yeah. So I mean, the Amiga's a 60. It's got a 68020, the AGA minimum. So we can probably do a lot more with it. So it's. I mean, although the Spectrum Next is a really nice machine, it is still technically an 8-bit machine. So there are still limitations what you can and can't really do realistically without it all going into slow mode. I've got 100 health. That's all right. I don't need to collect those grapes. There will be other pickups like sandwiches and bottles of cola. There's other things to pick up there. We've got potions to go in. We've got all the potions set up, but I haven't put them in the demo. So you've got like things like invincibility, repel. What other ones we've got? Invisibility. We've got. What was the other potions we got? We've got quite a few, haven't we? Can't remember what other ones we've got.
There's 6 or 7 at the moment, isn't there?
There's quite a few, isn't there? Yeah, there is.
One's called Lager Piss.
Oh, Lager Piss. Yeah, Lager Piss is. We've let the cat out of the bag now because there's a potion you pick up. And it's literally a static bottle of piss in a beer bottle.
Zombie piss.
The idea is you think, oh, what's that? But everyone who's watched this stream now is going to go, I'm not picking that up. The idea is a little joke. So you go to pick it up and it actually kills you. It takes your energy and you think, or it makes you really ill and it slows you down. So it's like
turns you into a zombie.
Yeah. Well, we have got those. I've actually got those zombie frames in there for the characters to walk around like zombies, which I have to say was taken directly from Metal Slug, which I'm a big fan of, where when you touch the zombies in Metal Slug, you go into that mode where you're doing that for a little while and you're like really slow. So I thought that'd be really cool. So I've put that in, but we haven't really tied it directly with anything at the moment. So so there are a few things to pick up, and we've got like a few other things we're thinking about adding, which we haven't really announced publicly yet with it. So yeah, it's pretty. And I said these ghosts are not going to be in this level. These will be spiders and scorpions and snakes and creatures, because this level is not supposed to be paranormal. It's supposed to be just like you're out in the outside, and this is the outside of the ruins. So you're kind of exploring the area, trying to find a way in, and then when you get through this bit and the next bit, then you'll find a way in, and you'll think, oh, right, okay, this isn't normal. Then you'll start to see some of the paranormal stuff coming in, and it just gets ramped up the further you go in, and that also reflects on the graphics. With the graphics, they'll also change to be more representative, something a bit more paranormal and a bit more sort of weird. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we've put a lot of thought into it. So it's you know, and the thing is, we can't release it all in one demo because we'd end up giving the whole game away. You know, most of the game. So we thought we'd do a little selection for this to give people a little bit of an idea of what the game's about, and then you know, hopefully that's enough for people to say, yeah, I like that, and I'll do it. So now I've messed up here because what I've done is I went this way, which is what a lot of people will probably do, and the floor's collapsed. So, oh, well, there's a key. So if I think, oh, I'll go and get that key, I can't get out now because although I go this way, the floor's collapsed there. So with this level design, I've got to work out, do I allow that to happen? And you just have to think, well, I have to call it a day and just kill myself. Or do I put something in that stops you? Now, you go back to a lot of the old games. I was playing Manic Miner the other day because Chris Wilkins lent me his Spectrum Next for testing. And I thought, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll install Manic Miner on it and give that a go because I've not seen that for years properly. And I was playing it, and that is so brutal. It really is. But you think what a big audience that game has gathered over the years. You know, people still go, yeah, it was really cool. So when you game design, you think, well, do you do something where you think, okay, well, you got to self-terminate and then learn the next time not to do that. So it swings and roundabouts with game design, because sometimes you can do something and you think that's a good idea, but then people go, no, I don't like it. So you're trying to do the best of both worlds. So but there's going to be a lot of that sort of stuff in the game where you'll do something and it'll be like, right, I better not do that again because I died last time. So kind of learn from your mistakes in the game.
Some more praise for you to read as well.
Okay. What we got? Oh, cheers, mate. I think that was of its time, though, wasn't it, Tony? With the games we made in the 90s, it's like we were just pushing it all the time with what we could do. You know, it was unknown territory, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was always pushing, wasn't it? I mean, you'd buy the mags every month, and every, there'd be games coming out and doing stuff that you don't know how they've done it, and then everything shifts. It moves on, and it was doing it like on a monthly basis, almost, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You always had to be pushing machines and gameplay and looking for something new.
Let's get that one.
A couple of funny comments as well.
Ramona needs food. yeah. Do you know we probably will do something like that? Ramona's about to die. Yeah. I think we should put. So we was talking to Richard, who's doing all our audio, and he was saying about like samples and things, and we said, yeah, we will have to put some in. I think it needs it. It needs something like that. Some feedback and just some humour. I mean, the game's going to have lots of humour. There's no point doing a game like this and not having humour in it.
There already is some humour, isn't there?
Yeah. There is. Yeah.
Like when you kill some of the baddies, it popped. At least when I was playing it popped up saying, "Take that fecker" or something. I can't remember what it said now, but it made me grin.
Yeah. It's all my temporary text, but I reckon it's not temporary at all.
No, they've got to stay in. I mean, Tony put these things in, and I laughed when I said, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, it's just temporary, just to test the code out." And I said, and I think, oh, that's all right, but I think it needs to stay in that because it just adds something to it.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, when I read it in Tony's voice, so I hear him saying that to me while I'm playing it because, having spent so much time together working on this, I'm thinking, yeah, it's his voice saying it. Even though the pop-up is like from Ramona or Alejandro, I always hear it as Tony saying it. So,
we'll have to do our own narration, our own voice acting, Steve.
Yeah. There's no such thing. I don't have to shut up, would I?
I do have some good news for you if you want to hear it.
Go on. Hit us.
You've got £6,066 with 112 backers. So well done.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Fully funded in less than an hour.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
That is really amazing. Thank you. Oh no, hang on. I need died then. Yeah, there you go. That's brilliant.
Still, you're not as good at this as we thought you were.
I'm showing it off in a way that shows people the game rather than me just testing stuff. So normally when I test stuff, I like, right, that bit works, yeah, that bit works, right, that bit works. But yeah, it's funny because normally you know you just steam through things, but for this one, I'm trying to show off the game stuff so you can see all the bits and pieces in it. I mean, what would really be funny, I couldn't get my words out then, was like, you know, like if one's chasing you, you could have like chase me or something on come up. Or that'd be quite good. Was it Duncan Norvo used to do that? Didn't he? Chase me. It's a blast from the past. Good old Duncan. Now let's get rid of that. I'm going to go in there now.
In the final game, will you be leaning into any of the nostalgia from sort of the 80s and 90s?
I mean, yes, because it does anyway. In a way, I mean, nothing too overt, but I mean, it is building on what was done in that time. So, I mean, to a degree, it depends. It depends how specific that the nostalgia would be.
Well, what I'm thinking is a proton pack while you're busting ghosts. Is that too on the nose?
Yeah. Let's blast some of those. Get out of here now. Right, let's go back to one. So yeah, if you want to have a go, the demo is available to download. Give it a go. Please leave us some feedback. You know, you're the guys who are going to be, you know, playing it. So any you know, decent feedback or valid feedback is warmly welcomed. I always do that. Do you know, when I'm testing this, I can do this half the time. So the other day I kept cursing because I thought, oh, I've shot the bloody diamonds again. But yeah, but just give us some feedback. You know, I mean, this is what it's about. It's you know, we're here to making games for you guys. But if we make it and there's things in it which don't work, tell us. You know, obviously we can't change the whole game design, but if there's little niggles in there that you think, oh, yeah, tell us about it, and you know, we'll look into it. And if it's a valid point, we'll do something about it. You know.
Yeah, join the Discord channel, and that would be the great place to discuss.
I should say on the final game there are going to be 2 or maybe more slime bosses. So this one actually appears at the start of area 2. So when you change the graphics change to this kind of style, this is the first one you'll see. And these are slime pots. So on this one, he's quite tame, so you can get rid of him fairly easy. But the one later in this area, he actually draws his power from these slime pots. And the idea being that you have to shoot these slime pots to disable him, because he won't die if you shoot him, because all this is supposed to be flowing out and he's drawing his energy from that. So that's a bit on the later level. So for this one, we left it as is. So he's kind of like, you know, Slime Boss Junior, I suppose. Let's go up here, shall we? And get them diamonds.
Can you still attack the slime monsters with your crowbar, or is it just guns?
You can do it, but there's a possibility you'll sustain some hits. Like now, I've got 15 left.
It's not a good idea.
It's not a great idea. Yeah. So now I'm trapped in there now. So although I thought I was doing myself a favour, I thought I'll go up that way. I can't get out now unless I use up all me, and I've only got 15 energy left. So I mean, I've got some ideas that will allow you to get around that problem, but I've got to talk to Tony about it to see if it's possible to do it in the game. But yeah, it's you've got to be careful what weapons you use on some of these things, because you know some weapons are better at certain things. For instance, if you want to smash a wall down, crowbar's the best thing to do it with. You could use a gun, but it can take longer. Likewise, some of the badges you come up against, you're better off using the gun than the crowbar. You know, zombies are all right with crowbars, some of them, not all of them. But again, you that's something you'll learn when you play the game. What weapons work for certain things. You know, I'm not hit him with the crowbar and it's fine. But some of the bigger zombies in the game, they don't really get affected by the crowbar as much as these little pygmy ones. So it is a case of learning what each thing does when you're playing it. Let's get through there.
Rowan DT's asked if there's achievements and challenge modes in the game. Tony did answer that already in the chat.
Right.
I did. There are sort of achievements now. Yeah, that's when me and Stu pop up and say you've done this, you've found this, whatever. So yeah, definitely achievements. Yep, that's me. We like achievements.
Yeah.
Are there bosses? Yep. I mean, that slime boss is a mini boss.
Yeah, we've got plans to do. I mean, as I said, the further you go in the game, the more paranormal it becomes. So there's one boss that you come across, which is loosely based on a Mexican story of 3 mummy children which were mummified. And I kind of took that idea and I've worked it into these demonically possessed children that were mummified alive. And it's quite dark, based, isn't it? Really, there's something wrong with me. And the idea is you come across those, and you have to work a way to get through them. They've got but I'm still working out the final design for that. So there are going to be lots of proper arcade style bosses. So things spinning around but again, like I said before, you got to kind of work out the best way of defeating them. So rather than just blasting it with everything you got, there might be another way of doing it that might not seem quite as obvious when you first start the game. You think, oh right, okay, I'll do it this way. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give it that arcadey feeling where you get a lot of fun just going around shooting things and smashing things and that. But there's another way of playing it where you can be a bit more selective what you use your weapons on and what you smash down. And I mean, I've got lots and lots of level ideas written down, which I'm going to work into some of the later levels as the difficulty gets cranked up a bit. But I mean, I've got this mega. We've got this mega kind of like flow chart with all the link maps in, the room maps and the level maps, and there's lots of doors that link different bits. And the idea is that as you start the game, you work in a sort of a kind of set number of levels that are all linked. So you can work, you say, around about 4 or 5 of them, and then once you complete that section, then you work on to the next bit, which will be another 4, 5, 6 levels, and you progress to that one. But within each of those areas, you might find that there's a route that takes you somewhere else, and you might bypass all those maps that you haven't, you might not see them because you've chosen a different route. So when you play that game again, you think, oh, I didn't see this way because I went through that exit, not that one. So it's going to be quite a big game. I mean, there's only so much we can do because there's only so much we can do on the next, but it's going to be it's going to be quite a big game.
Dave Boswell asks if it's going to be 1 player only or 2 player co-op.
This next version will be 1 player, but just because we can't run both player graphics on the screen at the same time, it just blows the sprite cacher up because there's a lot of frames in them. So if you like playing the boy and the girl, it would just obliterate it. So it's probably going to be 1 player on this, but the plan would be 2 player co-op and network co-op on subsequent versions.
Yeah. I mean, with the graphics, I mean, one thing the Nex has got is it's got sprite flipping. So if you look at this run animation, I think it's just 5 frames of animation. But if I do the diagonal, I don't want to stand there, do I? If I do the diagonal, when it goes to the other diagonal, it's the same animation just flipped to save memory. But I mean, in theory, we could have dropped the frame count to say 3 frames because in Cannon Fodder, the sprites were like, I think 3 frames. I think they were 4 frames. I can't remember. They were, might even be 5. I can't remember how many frames we had for Cannon Fodder, but it was very limited. So again, you compromise. Do we put like 2 player in and have basically the players doing that, which you can probably get away with. But then I lose that little bit of character because I like the fact that his arm swings when he's running. His arm's swinging like he's doing this as he's running, and it's a little bit of character to them. They're only little sprites, so to get that character in, you've got to have a few more frames. But I mean, 5 frames of animation for the wolf I think that's pretty small, really, to retain that level of detail and character. So, but I think the 2-player will be appearing on like Tony said, on the later versions on the other platforms.
We've got some more praise. I'll let you read it. Wall tiles. To be honest, I think this entire game just looks beautiful. I think it's just really, really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
It's just that's just what I think. It is just really, really nice. You know.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, I mean the thing is, I mean I wanted to do something. Oh no, look at that. See, I can't talk and play the game. What I wanted to do is make something that was arcadey. And I said it before. I mean, I'm a big fan of Neo Geo. And for me, I wanted to make something that you could stick in an arcade cabinet and it would get away with just holding its own against all the other arcade games in the arcade. And I mean, this screen here, for example, you know, like I said earlier, it's straight out of the Neo Geo playbook, this sort of stuff, you know, and SNK. It's that kind of thing. Obviously, we can only do so much because there's only 2 of us and we haven't got a big art team and we haven't got loads of stuff. And we've got a finite amount of time because we don't want to spend like 2 years making a game. So we've got to get this game out so we can move on to the next version. Not the next version, but a next version. But it's coming up with that look that I think taps into that that nostalgia of the arcades. And I mean, when we was talking about doing this, I thought I've got to have the arcade button in there. You've got to have the big characters. You've got to have all this 1-player bit up the top and the logo. You know, just got to do it. And I've applied that same sort of, I suppose, design idea to the level graphics. Just trying to make them stand out without using loads and loads and loads of tiles. In fact, we've only used half the tile count for the floors and the walls at the moment. So we're going to be expanding that on the next update we'll be doing when we get back on the game after this week. We're going to be expanding all the tiles, so some of these levels will actually have more graphics in them potentially. I mean, one of the things I like to do is I like to have variety in my tiles. So I mean, here I've got like 2 tiles for these shrubs. Ideally, I'd like to put another one in just to break this repetition up. But when you look at these H blocks, I've tried to make it so they do look a little bit unique, but they do link. So I could have 2 of these ones together and then put one of them in between them, or 2 of them and then one of them, and it'll all link up. So it's just to kind of give that impression that it's actually a real environment rather than having a repeating tile. I mean, one of my bugbears when I see games is when they use 1 tile for a wall and 1 tile for a floor. And it's like, no, if you can get away with 2 or 3, do it, because it just breaks the look up, The same with this grass, all this grassy area, I mean, I've got like a couple of little dark bits here, a couple of little stones, a bit of grass there, 1 single blade of grass sticking up there. And if you can get them all around and scatter them around, you can kind of make it look a bit random, and it just breaks up the style of it a bit, makes it a little bit more interesting on the eye. And, that's pretty much how I set about doing these graphics, just to get it to look, I suppose, like it's not on a next. And we had a compliment at Crash when we first showed this. Someone walked past and I was looking at it and they said, is that running on a next? And we said, yeah. And they couldn't believe it. They said, oh, that doesn't look like any next game I've seen. And to me, that's a big compliment, because that's like mission accomplished, because we're trying to make a game that looks like an arcade game using the next hardware. So, it's great when you get that sort of feedback and people are enjoying seeing your work and actually positive comments about it like that. So it's good.
One comment there about a possible Amiga version getting signed by Tony and Stu. Just a reminder that there are some tiers where I'm just going to get it up now, where you can get signed merchandise, I believe. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah. There's lots of signing.
Yeah, we have. We've got quite a few bits of signing stuff to do. We've got if you look at the 2 illustrations that done for the cover of the 2 main characters, we've got 2 character art prints that we're doing, little art prints, which will be a character profile of each. They'll be signed. We've got the We didn't add it to one of the main tiers. It's an add-on because we thought, well, not everyone might want it, but we've got a framed, signed print of the artwork, the cover artwork, which I have to say took me forever to draw. It was like, I started off this idea, and it was a great idea at the time, but about halfway through, I thought, what have I done to myself here? Because I've drawn it at such a high resolution because I knew that we want them assets for like promotion and stuff. And it took me so long to draw this artwork. I was glad when it was finished. But the good thing is all the zombies you see on all the promotional material, the characters, that is all from the cover artwork because I made sure that everything was drawn on separate layers so we could separate it off and use it for stuff. But yeah, there's quite a few. I think we're doing a boxed version that's signed. I think we're doing. There's quite a few bits of pieces signed in there. We're doing quite a few bits.
The poster is signed, isn't it?
The poster, yeah, the art print, yeah, the art print poster's being signed, yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few bits and pieces. I think we need to buy shares in Sharpies, to be honest. The amount of signing we're going to be doing.
So one question I was going to ask, the level design, like the map itself, is that a collaboration between the pair of you, or is that one or the other?
What seems to work is I'll put something in, I'll do a level design, and then we just tweak it between us. So, I mean, I have to say the coding side, it's been intense because Tony's doing Z80, so a lot of the stuff if you're doing it in a high level language, it's easier to just get stuff running. But when it's Z80, there's a lot more involved. So with the level designs, what I tend to do is I just come up with an idea, send it over to Tony, and he'll say that really plays well, or we'll tweak it. He'll say like maybe there's too many sprites in that area, or that doesn't quite work, and we'll just finalise each level as we go, really. And that's pretty much how it seems to be set up, which is fine. It works really well.
Yeah, I mean these are mostly yours, but I'll do some Tony levels at some point. You'd have to teach me how to.
Yes.
Teach me how to do it properly.
Yes. I mean, the levels are set up fairly simply. We've got like basically a floor and a wall, and it's because it's the next. We don't want to overcomplicate with lots of different collision things and in sort of do something too complicated. And then within those tile sets, there are special tiles for different sort of purposes. Like they've got falling floors, you've got walls that you can knock down, and you've got all sorts of things like that. So once you've got that kind of toolkit of tiles at your disposal, you just kind of come up with ideas that you think will work, and you just test it. But it's like I said earlier, when you're developing a game, what you see here, this map has probably gone through I don't know, a dozen or so plus revisions before it got to this stage. Little tweaks. I mean, like this hedge bit here that you run through, that wasn't in the original version of this map. And I was playing it, and I thought we needed a level for the demo, and I thought, well, I'll put that in to see if it works, and it kind of works. So I left it in, and and there's a lot of little things like that in there, which some from a trial and error. You put them in to see if it works, and if it does, you think I'll leave it in. If it doesn't, you take it out. And the same with the placement of these like objects. You put them in, and sometimes you put it in, and it ruins the flow of the game. You might go to an area, and there's like a zillion zombies or a zillion like ghosts or scorpions or something coming at you, and it ruins it because it upsets that balance. So it's I think it's quite a fine art getting the balance right. When you're doing level design, it's you really have to kind of think about the level progression and the difficulty curves and all that sort of stuff, so you can get get that feeling right when you're playing it. The hardest thing is not to give too much straight away. You want to have the progression as a curve that goes like this through the game, because for instance, when you get a new gun, you don't want to be expecting the player to use that gun for everything from the offset, because there might be things with that gun that you need to learn, or like the ammo, how much ammo does it need? So you bring that in gently, and then the next level up, then you start introducing things that really need to be challenged. And like the crowbar, initially you get the crowbar, and you'll just be splatting a few spiders and scorpions with it. But then when you get further in, you're going to be smashing walls and using it to kill things with, which are a bit more close combat. So, once you've got to grips with it, then you'll get a bit more skill at using it without using all the energy like I'm doing.
Do have one comment for you. You need some stretch goals.
We have got some stretch goals, which we are going to be putting in tomorrow. So we've got some stretch goals which we're putting in. So I can probably reveal a couple of those. We're probably going to be doing one where we're going to add extra levels to the game, and another one will be extra baddies that we're going to design for the game as well. And there'll be another couple that will go up further. So we'll see how the campaign goes and then put them in. So it'll be. I mean, bear in mind, this is the first time we've done anything like this, so it's been a huge learning curve to understand how the whole Kickstarter thing works. And I mean, up until a few weeks ago, I'd only really looked out from the outside at Kickstarters and how they worked. So for me, it's been quite a journey of discovery of how stretch goals work and add-ons and all sorts of things, So, but yeah, stretch goals definitely, I think.
Got a question from Matt, I think for Tony to answer.
It's a bit northern, actually, isn't it? I think.
Specifically Tony's house.
Yeah, we're gonna maybe that one does need an edit, because at some point we'll probably voice act these parts, and it's gonna be a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, you could translate it to Peruvian or something.
Yeah. This is what happened.
Translate to Quechua, which is a very unusual language, which is the ancient language of that area. That'd be interesting.
Maybe Theka just means something else.
Yeah.
It's the same as what happened with Beneath a Steel Sky, to be honest, and that was full of northernisms, and we actually got in the news for that. So maybe it's a winning strategy again.
Got another really funny comment that I really need to highlight. I think this is great.
It would be a good stretch goal, actually, wouldn't it? Because Stu could redraw all the characters naked and
just their backpacks on.
A big chunk of work, but
just their backpacks on. That'd be quite interesting.
But for Flashman, we should maybe think about it. Yeah,
that'd be quite interesting. I'll tell you what would be good. It would save some palette colours. So just get rid of the pink on Ramona and just have her. Just all we need is the greys and the skin tones, and we're laughing. Two colours for the hair. That worked well.
But you might have to go for a different age rating then.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Or we'll just have another sprite over that saying censored in pixel art.
Be a whole new genre, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it would actually.
There is a Brazen Gameplay Discord.
We can put that in the comments, maybe.
We could, yeah. I'm not sure if it's on the. Is it on the page? Maybe it's not. I know it's in the README for the link. There's an invite link on the README that you get with the demo. So there you go. Download the demo. But yeah, we'll post it.
Grab the demo.
It's an interesting question that maybe something to consider. Would it be possible to change the health counter so it changes colour as it depletes?
Yeah, I think we will jazz that up a little bit somewhere or another, because you need to be more aware of it changing. So I think we will look at that area. Yeah, we'll revisit that.
That's a good question. I mean, there are some extra graphics for the health. So, for instance, when you pick up the invincibility potion, the actual heart for the health will be it's got a shield over it, so it basically makes you invincible. But with the colouring of the energy in that all kind of makes sense. So we just got to work out the best way of implementing it within the graphics we've got and the restrictions on the next, because it's just getting it in really.
Yeah, the next is the restriction, because those characters where the score is written, they're a pretty much fixed position. So, like, it'd be nice to bounce them up and down when they change, but you can do that on a PC, but it's difficult on the next.
Yeah,
but we'll think of something to draw your attention more to that.
I mean, I'd like to make it, you know, a bit more arcadey, but as I said, like Tony just said, it's there are restrictions on that little bar at the top, so we've got to work out the best way of implementing stuff. Oh, I've just knackered that one.
This one makes me laugh.
Well, I'm just leaning to the Windows machine, which just got the YouTube open on it. So that's when I do it. Could be that as well. That's when I lean the other way.
Some more praise.
Oh, cheers, Arthur. Right, let's get them out.
There we go. I'll let one of you guys try to pronounce that.
That's all right. We can put that in, and then only people who understand that language will get it. It's like, you know.
Well,
We did that.
it'd have to be,
Go on.
yeah, I was going to say you'd have to have an understanding of that language, and you know, Yorkshire.
Yeah. We were talking a while ago about having the high score table in Quechua, the language of that area, the ancient language, where the numbers would be in like the written, and because they've got a different base than our base. I can't remember what it is now, and that was something we thought about possibly doing, but we'll see how that one goes. So. Oh, get there. That's it. That's that.
To answer Flashman asking for programming talk, yeah, the trials and tribulations. I think for me on the next, the hardest bit is dealing with bank switching and having to parcel everything up into 8K segments. And the other, I mean, that's still giving me a lot of problems actually, because I didn't plan for it properly. So that's a particular bugbear, so to speak. The other hard thing on the next, I mean, this game is pushing the amount of sprite patterns you can have. So each frame of graphic is basically a one sprite pattern, and it sits in the hardware ready to be used. And they give you like 128 of these things, but that's like probably half what it needs a lot of the time. So we Mike Daly told me how to do a sprite cacher, which turned out to be quite a complicated undertaking, but it absolutely needed to be done, and it's a very abstract, and I found it quite difficult to do. So that was difficult. I mean, on a PC or something, you just don't need to think about that kind of thing. They've got so much memory, so much VRAM and stuff. You just do what you want. But the Specky, you're running into these hardware limits all the time. So yeah, sprite pattern memory, very difficult. Bank switching, real pain in the arse. That's the trials. But it's, on the other hand, getting the spectrum, doing what you want and doing slightly better than you expect, it's very satisfying. So that's the upside. When you get this running on a spectrum on what is essentially an 8-bit machine, it's pretty cool.
While we're on the topic of you talking about trials and tribulations of coding, I do have another question for you.
Yeah.
Will there be weekly updates like back in the BS5 days?
I think we should do that. Yeah, I think we should have like a sort of code jammy thing once a week or something like that, or every 2 weeks. Certainly during the campaign, we should do it every week, and then maybe once a month or something when we're just finishing the game, because there'll be a good few months of development to go. So yeah, I think we should. It's good to connect with people, and I mean the BS5 ones were really great. I found one on YouTube, and it was just really fun to watch it. Obviously, we had a lot more people there, so there was more people to rope into it. But I reckon me and Stu could do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it'd be good fun.
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier about doing possibly doing like a level editing stream or something, and people can just watch and talk to me while I'm doing it, and that might be quite a good thing to do.
Yeah,
I mean, even doing some of the graphics, drawing some of the graphics. You know, someone wants to watch me do the graphics. You know, that's fine. I mean, I mean, the way I do my pixel art is I normally just have one hand on the keyboard and one hand on the mouse, and it just kind of just appears really. You know, it's yeah, but I think definitely do some kind of something like that would be pretty cool.
Got a question from Arthur. With the hardware limitations and games getting more complex, will multi-load for new graphics and levels become the norm in the future?
I don't understand the question. Multi-load. I mean, this game actually sits in memory because this is a 2 meg next game. The whole thing will sit in memory at once. So you know you've got all this memory. You got this enormous 2 meg, which for an 8-bit machine, 2 meg is pretty big. So you can fit a lot of graphics in that, but they're not graphics that you can necessarily use all at once. So to actually use like these hardware sprites that you're seeing running around, like the player and the ghosts and all the rest of it, you know, they themselves come under lots of restrictions. So although you can store absolute tons of graphics in the amount of memory you've got, you can't necessarily use them all at the same time. That's the problem. So you know, the game on a spectrum is 1 unit, but within that there's an awful lot of dancing around to make it work. I'm not sure that answers the questions at all, but maybe it doesn't.
He says it did.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got a follow-up question. So with it being all in memory, does that mean that you won't get many loading screens between levels and stuff like that? Will it be quite quick?
They'll never be loading between levels. No. It'll be instantaneous.
So I was just show you it'd be like this. So we're going from one map to another. That's what it'd be like through the whole game. Yeah,
we're not going to speed that up.
That's quite impressive, really, when you think about it, because you know this sort of game, you know, traditionally you'd have loading screens while it was.
You would on an Amiga, say, when it's floppy based, but you know, I mean, we're talking about this is for a 2 meg computer. I mean, it'll be a 2 meg game. I mean, think how much memory your phone's got. You know.
Yeah.
It's like billions times more. You know, it's still tiny, but it's more than enough for this game, I think. I mean, I hope so. It would be pretty bad if we have to break it up into and actually do loading. But to be honest, even if we did have to split it and load it, it would be coming off an SD card, so you wouldn't really notice it, because I mean the whole game boots up very quickly anyway. So you'll never notice it. Even if we had to break it up, you wouldn't notice it.
Another question, I think, possibly for Stu. This one, when he's
yeah, go for it.
Got the
you wait for me to die, aren't you?
No. Will the floor collapsing stop baddies from crossing in the final release?
Yes, it should do.
Will it do it for ghosts as well then? Because presumably ghosts can float over.
No, ghosts. I think. Well, we haven't implemented that yet, but I think ghosts won't be affected by it because they'll float. The ghosts are going to be removed from these earlier levels, and they're going to be appearing later. And we'll probably have them like floating about and just getting in the way, but they won't be like you see now. Put it that way. They'll be different. So they were test scraps
through walls.
Sorry.
Will ghosts be able to go through walls?
I wouldn't have thought so. They'll appear. I think they'll be generating from like cracks in walls and stuff. There'll be a generator for those, but they won't be going through walls. I wouldn't have thought so.
Graham, have you ever seen a ghost walk through a wall?
I've seen Casper.
It's just made up.
I've never seen a ghost, so although I've got an interesting story I could share with you if you want about my spooky experience when I was a child.
Go on, then.
So I think it's quite funny, but in hindsight, it's probably not. I don't know. When I was little, and this is showing my age because I am a little bit younger than you guys, just a tiny little bit. When I was little, I watched Ghostbusters 2. And for the first time, I remember watching it and being petrified of the slime coming out the bath. And that night, I went to the toilet, and I don't know why, but I looked down the plug hole in the sink, and I could see an eye looking up at me. I was looking to see if there's any slime there, and I could see an eye looking up at me.
Oh,
so
wow.
I leant in closer to see it, and the eye was getting bigger. It was my own reflection. It was me looking at my own eye. I leant in closer to look at it, and it was getting bigger. And then it was like in a little bubble in the plug hole, and it popped, and I fell off the sink and cracked my head. And for months, I was convinced it was like something living in the sink.
And you've never been right since.
Someone knocks to the noggin. Request from Matt for Stu. Please do a YouTube of you doing the graphics for the game.
Yeah, I have been thinking about it for a while because I don't know if anyone saw my very, very long series on drawing the Amiga 1000, colouring that in on my YouTube channel, which was really more of a test than anything. But I have thought about doing it, and the reason I haven't is because I thought people would find it really boring just to simply doing pixel art. But yeah, I'll give it a go. I mean, it's nothing exciting, I don't think, but yeah, I'll give it a go. I think the level editing will probably be more exciting because I can do it where I can record my screen and have the game coming up while I'm doing it, so that you'll be able to see me editing a level and then putting it into the game, testing it, and going back. But having said that, I suppose really I'll be doing level graphics with that. So maybe that's the way to do it, incorporate into one thing. So it'll be the level graphics and then the level designs, testing it, and then going around in that kind of circular motion with each section. So yeah, let's do that. That'd be a good thing to do.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start an OnlyFans for that.
Like and subscribe,
Like and subscribe.
A request to not use a micro SD. Have you thought about what type of SD card you're going to be using?
The smallest we can possibly buy, as in memory. If we can find the full size ones, then yeah, we would do that. In theory, they would be very cheap. So because I mean, if you go on Amazon and try and buy they're like 16 gig is the smallest one, and a couple of meg would do us. So we'll look around and see what we can find.
I suppose the bigger the SD card in terms of size, the more able you are to put like a sticker on it and have it look nice.
It should be big enough for that anyway. But I think what ZX Tetley's is suggesting is that it's not the one with the. Let me show you. It's not this sort with the tiny one that fits. So yeah. It's just this one, Now, if we can source them really small memory-wise, these ones, if we can source them, then we'll use them. But I think there might be a reason why even the Spectrum next operating system disk comes on the old-fashioned, on this new one with the mini one. And I think there's probably a good reason for that. But we'll have a look. If we can source them, then we'll use those proper ones, proper old-fashioned ones.
I like this comment. I think he might be referring to the Sword of Baphomet.
It's an unbroken sword this time.
Yes.
An intact sword.
That's quite good. I like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Another question from Arthur.
Very much chip tune. It's AY music on the Specky, so all versions will be using that.
There is some sample music in the demo.
Yeah. The demo plays music. We just got it switched off for this because otherwise it would be probably reverbing or whatever.
Yeah. Just to go on the music is the there was when Richard, we was talking to Richard to do the music for us for the game, because this is set in sort of a fictitious location around Peru and Bolivia. I thought it'd be quite good to have a music from that area influence the way the music is in the game. So I sent him some links to a Peruvian band called Alborada, which means dawn in that language, and they do a lot of like Peruvian folk music, but they sing in the ancient language of Quechua. So, but a lot of their tunes have got a very distinct kind of hook to them. And I said, if he can capture that essence in the music for this, then that's job done. And the Area 1 music he's done for the game, which isn't in the demo, which is sent through recently, it just works brilliantly. And you can hear some of that on the actual promo videos that we've put out on social media, the vertical ones that's got in it. So there's a lot of that in there. But because it's got the AY chip, I think we're using 2 for the music and then 1 for the sound effects. So it'll be 6-channel music. I think in game, are we using 1 chip in game for the music, Tony, and 2 for the sound effects?
2 for the music.
2 for the music and 1 for the sound effects.
1 for the sound effects.
Yeah. So that would be pretty cool, because I think a lot of the time you don't the music tends to be sort of the background. So we're trying to do something where it's got some kind of theme to it. I mean, obviously, if you want to play it without the music, there's an option. There'll be an option to switch it off or turn the volume down on it, or switch it off. I think that's an option. But yeah, so it's pretty cool.
There's a few comments suggesting different places to get DVD boxes and SD cards and such, but you can look at that after the stream, can't you? Yeah,
that's cool.
But yeah, thank you everyone for your comments.
Yeah, brilliant feedback on this.
We're currently at 132 backers with £6,826.
Wow. That's fantastic. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody. That's like, wow.
Yeah, it's really, really good. A very strong start. Was you expecting to get 6,000 straight away or at all?
We hoped we would, obviously. I think about these things is you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I mean, when we took the game to Crash last year and demoed the earlier version for the first time, there's an element of like, well, what if one doesn't like it, or they think, oh, this is rubbish, or just doesn't. But it was the opposite, and it really took us back. That it was like, wow, we didn't realise that we'd hit on something which people really like. And I think really maybe it's down to the fact we're making this game for ourselves ultimately, because we want to make this sort of game. So if we enjoy playing it and we're putting stuff in that we want to see in it, and hopefully other people will share that view and like, and they'll get on board with us and enjoy the game with us. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to expect with it, to be honest. I didn't know really how quickly these campaigns, go up, or I don't really know. So for me, this is like, wow, that quickly is just brilliant. It's fantastic. In fact, it's so fantastic, I'm going to eat this strawberry that I picked out of the garden on the way down to the studio today. So because it's been looking at me on my desk, so I'm going to eat that. I do get a bit eccentric sometimes, so that's not bad actually. It's quite nice. Yeah, not bad. So yeah, but yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's a weird thing. These things, you just don't know what to expect. So good though, very good. So
I don't know if it's my internet playing up or
just go and download the demo.
It's getting really choppy.
Yeah, it's my machine, I think, because it's not choppy here. So I think it's my internet connection. It's
I think we should relieve Stu of his game playing duties.
Although I am still enjoying myself, and I've played this level about a zillion times. There is something to say about just blasting things with a gun and hitting zombies with a crowbar. So I think the crowbar is going to take a life of its own on him. It's going to take on a life of its own within the game. It's kind of gaining its own identity within our development circle. So it's
going to have its own game eventually.
I think it will be. Yeah, the Adventures of Crowbar. Norse god Crowbar. It's like a kids' TV show on a Saturday morning. The Adventures of Crowbar. There is a strategy you can use on this level, which I put into the design, where if you blast this one first, you get rid of him. He won't replicate, and it just makes it easy when you come in this way. So I'm going to blast the diamonds because I always do, and it's just like pointless even trying. You can do it, and I have done it many times, but I won't bother. So when you get around here, there's nothing to shoot, so it saves your ammo. So again, there's lots of that sort of stuff in the game levels where you might go the immediate route, but if you take a little bit of a thought, you might be able to make your life easier if you go an alternate route. I mean, a lot of this stuff is basically like the stuff we did at Sensible, really, on Cannon Fodder when we were doing the levels on that. You just try things out, and we all kind of had a go at doing level designs. And you just get things working until it actually plays exactly how you want it, and it feels right. A lot of it's down to gut feeling when you play a game. It's how it feels rather than just clinically just doing stuff, which is why sometimes it can take so long to get level designs exactly how you want, because it's just trial and error. And I've just run out of ammo on my blaster. That's no good.
We've got a question from Adrian. Have you thought about doing an expansion to UrbX? Levels that could be purchased or added onto the main game?
We're generally against DLCs just because they've been abused to such an extent by the corporate AAA games industry that we're sort of wary of ever been in a position where we have to say, hey, everyone, we've got a DLC coming out. I just don't want to do that. Like, the game will be the game. I think more likely is we'll just update the game every now and again, and there'll be a little extra bit that we thought balanced it out more, rather than cynically charging people for the rest of the game that they think they've already bought. I think it would be wrong on this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the game is self-contained, so once you go through it, and play all the levels, go back through again and play all the levels, that'll be it. As I said, with the secret artifact that will unlock levels within the game, which will be a code that you enter. So that'll unlock certain things within the game, but there won't be no DLC or anything like that. Tony said it's just we just don't believe in that, really.
We don't.
A follow-up question from Adrian. So will this game be complete then? I'm assuming.
Yes, there is a sort of a final ending. It will lead on to the next one. Well, I'm not saying any more than that because I don't want to say too much. But yeah, I mean, it will conclude. So it'll be, and then you'll be, an ending. but it'll be open ending. So yeah.
I mean, they escape, you know.
Yeah,
How-
they escape. So you've given the plot away now. You mean they don't perish at the hands of a pygmy zombie?
They
I
might
suppose
do.
it depends how good you are at the game.
Yeah.
They only escape if they escape.
If they escape, they may not escape. They may not escape. They may not escape.
All right. We about done then, do you reckon?
I think so. I think so. It's been really good fun, and
Any last questions?
really good. And thanks to everybody who's supported us on this. And if you haven't supported us, or you just please share the links to the campaign and the videos and stuff, just to get the word out that what we're doing to everybody. We don't expect everyone to back the game. That's fair enough, but it really does help if you can spread the word and just make all the videos get out there as much as you can, viral them if you can. Be really good for us. So get the word out.
Yeah, like the big problem for game devs, like small ones like us, is just like reaching people. There's lots of people out there in the world. There's 7 billion people. Probably quite a lot of them would like this game, but how do you tell them about it? It's a real problem,
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's that reach, isn't it? So we rely on people to spread the word. Cheers, Andrew. It's just relying on people to spread the word and getting just help support us. I mean, we're there to make games for you guys to play. So, the more support we get, the better it is. And I'm not talking just financial support. I'm talking about like just social media and spreading it and sharing posts and liking and all that stuff. It really does make a big difference.
It does, yeah. You think it doesn't, but it does.
Yeah. I think we've got some podcasts that's doing. I think we're going to be on Pixel Refresh soon with James. If you haven't checked out Pixel Refresh, give James a look over on his YouTube channel. That's really good. We did the Retro Hour recently. That I think that came out on Friday, didn't it? The Retro Hour. It was on there. That was great. We enjoyed talking to Dan and Ravi. They're good guys. But I think we're going to be doing a few more in the coming weeks, I imagine. So, but if you do run a podcast or a YouTube channel and you want us on, just drop us a message on, and we'll arrange to come on and talk about what we do. Always happy to talk to people. So, yeah.
And we are at Retcon on Saturday, so come and say hello.
Yes, come and say hello to us.
If you are in the south of England,
down south,
down London,
down London.
London.
Yeah, London.
Fucking hell. Bloody hell.
Yeah, we are going to be doing Crash. We'll be Crash in November as well, so we'll be there. That's all right. That's cheers, Paul. It's quite good doing the shows because you get to get immediate feedback. No worries, James. You get immediate feedback from people, and it's great. You couldn't do that in the old days because in the old days you had to, all you relied on was magazine reviews, and that was it. And so being able to connect with the people who actually buy you and play your work is just brilliant. Immediate feedback, and it keeps us on our toes because then we know if we've got something in there that people don't like, or it doesn't quite work, then we expect people to say, yeah, we're not really sure about that, so it's good. It's good all round.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great.
I think it's good that you've had so many backers as well whilst you've been playing the game. It shows that people do have faith in your game. It does look good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for arranging it for us, Graham. This has been really good. It's made a big difference to the impact it's having. Because I say between the two of us, we're so involved in the game development that sometimes it's easy to kind of neglect stuff that needs to be done. And the thing is, we're only a two-man team, so there's only two of us, and between us we do all of it. Everything we're doing, the whole thing. So obviously we've got Richard doing the music, and Chris is doing the fulfillment and some of the publishing with it. So but that's it really, and we've got Paul doing the testing. So we've got a very small group of us working on it. So all the help we can get is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we'd never have done this without Graham.
Yeah, definitely. It's like
not a chance.
yeah. It's like, how did this work again?
Just send me a link 10 minutes before.
Yes.
Right, I think we're done then. Thanks for joining us. It's been great. Thanks everyone who tuned in and watched. It was really I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too. It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Should do another one soon.
See, maybe next week. Yeah.
We'll do another one soon. Yeah. Do an update. I'm probably gonna take tomorrow off, or probably do like light duties tomorrow, because a lot of work's gone on to get the campaign live, all the assets and all the, working out what this and what that is. But we'll be resuming on the project, pretty much pronto to get it finished as soon as we can. So it'll be pretty cool. So we can do some regular updates as we go, like Tony said, on how we're getting on with it, and people can follow along as we go along.
Yeah. Right.
Cool. Thank you, Ray. Nice one.
Play that down.
Yeah. Right. I'll see you all soon.
Cheers.
Okay. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.